Hi, and welcome back to Dave Reed's Dialogue from Outer Wilds. If you haven't seen Part 1 and are unfamiliar with the video game Outer Wilds, I recommend going back and watching that video. But as I mentioned last time, all these videos will have major spoilers for the game, so if you think you may want to play this game yourself, don't watch these videos until you have. Last time we explored our player character's home planet, Timber Hearth, where we are now, and its moon, the Addle Rock. Today we'll be traveling to Timber Hearth's near neighbor, the planet Brittle Hollow, which is a very strange world. It is literally hollow, and it is very brittle, as we will soon see. Before going on, I should explain about the timer you see at the lower right of the screen. It's not an official part of the game, but a mod that someone wrote that allows you to keep track of where we are in the time loop. For those who don't know the game and haven't seen my first video, our character is stuck in a Groundhog Day-like time loop, which starts when we awaken on Timber Hearth just before our first launch into space, and ends 22 minutes later when the sun explodes as a supernova. Part of the goal of this game is figuring out why the time loop is happening, and if we can stop it. Before we head over to Brittle Hollow, I want to point out the Quantum Moon, a source of puzzlement for Hearthians and Nomai alike. As you can see, I've just zeroed in on it. It's currently orbiting our home planet Timber Hearth, and we're heading up to it right now. As you can see, it looks perfectly ordinary, completely covered with clouds like Saturn's moon Titan. But if we point our signal scope to it, that magical device that we have that allows us to hear sounds in space, we can hear that it's emitting quantum fluctuations. So the moon is very charged with quantum energy, and so it has macroscopic quantum behaviors. That is, if we look away from the moon and then look back, it's gone. And as we see now, it's orbiting the Hourglass Twins. It's the gray one at the lower part of the screen. But again, if we look away, now you see it. Now you don't. We're going to Brittle Hollow today because it's a good place to explore how the Nomai, the ancient race from another galaxy, first settled in the solar system thousands of years ago. The Nomai, as their name suggests, were nomadic and consisted of many clans who roamed through space, each clan manning a large starship called a vessel. But one clan, lured to this system by a strange signal that seemed to be older than the universe itself, suffered major damage to their vessel and were forced to abandon ship in 3 escape pods, one of which ended up here on Brittle Hollow. As I say, Brittle Hollow is very brittle. In fact, it's literally crumbling to pieces. It has a psychotically volcanic moon called Hollow's Lantern, which keeps shooting fiery meteors at it, which break off large chunks of the planet, which then fall down to be consumed by the really bizarre thing about this planet, the black hole at its very center. So we'll start by examining the escape pod in which the Nomai first arrived on this planet. If we point our signal scope at that beam of light, we can see they're sending out a distress beacon saying they're in trouble. So this is a recording of Nomai talking to each other when they first landed. Is everyone unharmed? No one was badly injured from the escape pod's impact. We're incredibly fortunate. This is good news, at least. Have we heard from Escape Pod 2 or Escape Pod 3? No, I'm unable to make contact. My equipment can hear the other two escape pods' distress signals, however. If it's any comfort, both pods seem to be structurally intact. I'll continue calling for them. My gratitude. If we can... Thatch, the moon is approaching again! Everyone brace yourself swiftly, the volcanic moon has returned! Be cautious of falling ash and debris! I believe the moon has passed. This planet doesn't appear eager to have guests. We are certainly unwelcome on its surface. We need to find shelter, and quickly. The volcanic moon won't be gone for long. I observed several promising sites below the surface, but we'll need to construct a way for everyone to climb safely down this cliff. Perhaps we could build platforms. And so now we're going to find those platforms and walk down to the old settlement. Yeah. So this is why I called this episode Brittle Hollow, the bringer of vertigo. Looking down and seeing that black hole down there, ready to swallow anything up that falls into it, is pretty disconcerting. Use caution. A black hole sleeps below. You must not slip. Thanks, Plume. I think we kind of figured that out for ourselves. Well, here goes nothing. Here they go. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Whew, that was close. And here we are in the old settlement. Of note, be sure not to wander far from here. Though this area is somewhat unstable, it's safer than any we've found so far. The temporary settlement is finished, but remember to be cautious of falling rocks and dust created by meteor impacts from that crazy moon. Every time we hear an explosion in the background, it's one of those meteors crashing into the planet. And so this is the visual representation of the signal that the Nomai found out in deep space. The signal that was older than the universe itself, and which they are both, the Nomai have become both mystified and obsessed with. This knowledge is too dear to lose. Here is everything we can recall about the signal we encountered while aboard the vessel. The signal looked like an eye, round with a circle at the center, much like a pupil. Suppose the signal was looking for something. The signal was older than the universe itself. This is the most significant detail. No Nomai clan has ever encountered anything like it. How can anything in the universe be older than the universe itself? Imagine what rare and profound knowledge it might offer. We must find this eye of the universe. And so I'm going to shoot my little scout down to this next area below that we want to look at next, where the Nomai have painted murals of their journey so far in the system. The little scout is very useful in that it can pinpoint locations for you so that you can find them, which is what we're doing here. It can provide light in dark areas, and it can photograph the surrounding areas to see what's there and to see if there are any hazards in the way. So this first mural shows the Nomai clan and their vessel picking up the signal from the eye. But when they tried to follow the signal, instead they get ensnared in one of the planets in this system, Dark Bramble, which we have yet to visit. Dark Bramble is a really hideous place. And the Nomai vessel crashed in Dark Bramble, and now 3 escape pods have evacuated the vessel. One has gone to Brittle Hollow, where we are now, at the lower right. One has gone to the Hourglass Twins to the lower left, and one is still stuck in the bramble. I don't understand. Why did the vessel crash in that place? Was the vessel unwell in some way? I love the way the Nomai personify everything, even their own technology. No, Anona and I checked before the warp, and the warp core and navigation systems were both well. We warped to follow that curious signal from the eye of the universe. Where we arrived was wrong. It wasn't where we were trying to go. Suppose it wasn't a problem with the vessel, but with our destination. I'm afraid for our friends in Escape Pod 3. That's the one that never made it out of Dark Bramble. And you'll see, when we get to Dark Bramble, you'll see just how horrible a place it is. And very weird. Maybe the weirdest one of all the weird worlds in this system. Don't look down. There's that black hole. I can hear the other escape pods' distress signals, which gives me hope. Foley, are you still there? I am unsure how to survive in this place without you. I am unsure how to be me without you. The pain of your absence is sharp and haunting, and I would give anything not to know it. Anything but never knowing you at all, which would be worse. I can only hope you are safe, Keek, wherever you are. So there are a lot of Nomai who got separated from their loved ones in that terrible crash, with them scattered through the solar system. Given concerns about our settlement stability, where should we construct a new, less temporary shelter? I believe we should migrate to the northern glacier. Building beneath the crust again would shelter us from the volcanic moon's eruptions. What if we use gravity crystals to craft a stable path? We need to stay close to the escape pod, so Felix can monitor incoming messages. We can't be rescued if we aren't present to respond. I don't believe anyone is coming to save us, Thatch. Now we must save ourselves. I agree. We're here because the eye of the universe's signal called to us and we followed. If we're to find it, we need to not merely survive, but thrive. This is a wise point, Plume, and eloquently made. If moving to the northern glacier will keep us safer, then that is what we should do. So these little blue glowing things you see are the gravity crystals. They create an artificial gravity field so that we can walk on walls and ceilings. And avoid falling into the black hole. Don't look down, or when you're walking on the ceiling like this, don't look up. But if we keep following these gravity crystals, they should lead us to the Hanging City. We're almost there. There's buildings up ahead. And here we are in the Hanging City, or what's left of it. There's just two more major things I want to cover in this video. First of all, I want to show what happens when we actually do fall into the black hole. And to do that, I'm going to start looking for the Southern Observatory, which is where the Nomai built their second eye signal locator to try to find the eye of the universe, since the one that they built on Timberhorse Moon, the Addle Rock, didn't work. So they came here to build a second, more sophisticated signal locator. And so I'm going on the path now to get to it, which is extremely difficult. To say getting to the Southern Observatory is tricky would be the understatement of the century, because you have to go through all these tractor beams that the Nomai built, which are kind of really nice because they let you glide through distant places and travel up and down. Tractor beams are also, I find myself sometimes referring to them as excursion funnels, even though I realize that's really a term from Portal 2. This Twitch streamer, Hello It's Colo, when she played Outer Wilds, she referred to them as lifty dudes. And so we have to jump over to get to those gravity crystals, climb up, and we didn't make it, and now we're falling into the black hole. So when you fall into the black hole, you actually emerge on the other side of a black hole, which is called a white hole, at least for black holes that are actually the mouths of a wormhole. And so there's the white hole that we just emerged from, and now we're moving away from it and moving towards the so-called White Hole Station, which the Nomai built, containing one of their great inventions, what's called a warp pad, which allows you to teleport very quickly from the White Hole Station back to Brittle Hollow, as we'll see in a moment. These little orbs that the Nomai have pretty much control everything. They're like switches, doorknobs, any number of little gadgets. Welcome to the White Hole Station. If you fell through the black hole by accident, don't worry, you aren't the first. This warp tower can return you to Brittle Hollow. Every warp tower is tuned to a specific astral body. A tower's warp can only be used during the brief window when the tower is aligned with its corresponding astral body, in this case Brittle Hollow. If you look up while this station is rotating, you can see the alignment happens when the astral body is directly overhead. You must be standing on the warp platform on the floor during this alignment to be warped. So now we'll warp back. Brittle Hollow. It's just about, you can see from the indicator there that it's just about to be overhead. And there it is. And now here we are. So that platform on the White Hole Station was a black hole platform, and this is a white hole platform. Because as you can see, it's white. And so let me go read. This is from actually our fellow Harthian astronaut Feldspar. Feldspar's spare jetpack fuel. It's annoying to schlep across the planet to the ship if I can't use my jetpack, so I'm leaving this here. I checked with my little scout. I do too use it, Hornfells, you burnt marshmallow. And the scout's integrity reading said this piece of Brittle Hollow is as stable as any, but who knows? If the fuel's still around, feel free to use it. If not, well, wherever you're reading this note, I'm sure you've got bigger problems. Yeah, we just refilled our fuel tank. Where would we be without our jetpack to help us fly around? So we're going to come up here now and listen to what the Nomai had to say about the White Hole Station. This is a little diagram they made of a Nomai teleporting between the two. To our friends on Brittle Hollow, I just warped here from the White Hole Station on the other side of Brittle Hollow's black hole. Our design worked. We've successfully recreated warp travel. This is wonderful news. I can't wait to see the warp tower, although it's been a long time since I've jumped into a black hole. I don't know how close it is to Anona's original design, but as long as what we've built works, then I'm delighted. I knew we could do it. Cassava, I hope you're reading this. Wait, this can't be correct. Clary, have you seen these readings? If they're accurate, they would violate causality. There must be an equipment error somewhere. I'm returning to the White Hole Station. If you and Root meet me there, we can run a full diagnostic and hopefully locate the problem. Don't tell Cassava. So Poke and Cassava are kind of rivals. And so now we'll end this video the way it began. We saw the quantum moon at the beginning, and now we're going to see some of the Nomai's comments about the quantum moon. Has anyone observed the phantom moon that sometimes greets us in the night sky? Your thoughts interest me. I'm interested in your playful moon. Is it much like its violent friend Hollow's lantern? I compliment your eyes. How do you imagine it disappears? Hypothesis. Could it be a shift in the light spectrum? Suppose this moon is too shy to show its space. This moon isn't volcanic, to my unaided eyes. Sometimes it leaves its friend Hollow's lantern for nights at a time. The nights the moon circles this planet appear random. It appears to travel as it likes. Imagine if there were 2 volcanic moons. Then I imagine there'd be none of us left. Hypothesis. There can exist too much lava. I'd strongly prefer we test the null hypothesis. So that's it for this episode. The next episode we'll look at the Hanging City, the Nomai's permanent settlement here on Brittle Hollow, as well as learn more about the quantum moon. So I hope to see you in the next episode.